already.
On to the Browns. Professional athlete. Browns were supposed to be tested yesterday by a tough Ravens team, but Nick Chubb didn't get that memo. The second-year running back went off 165 yards on 20 carries. Math in my head tells me that is over 8 yards per carry. Chubb added a career-high 3 touchdowns. Browns beat the Ravens 40-25 as now both teams move to 2-2 on the year. Here's quarterback Baker Mayfield on all those Browns critics.
The win's great, but I hope everybody keeps the same energy. Throw us in the trash. We won't forget it.
Just always so concerned
He's never gonna
about
change.
what everybody says
He's
and
never
thinks
gonna change.
and writes and
yeah.
See, what was the key to the Browns win over the Ravens yesterday?
Well, Freddie Kitchens, I mean, I was shocked. I had just fouled it away because typically the coin toss and everything, it doesn't mean anything. But the Browns won the coin toss. And Freddie Kitchens, only his 4th game as a head coach of the Cleveland Browns, he decides to take the football in Baltimore.
You thought that was a mistake at the time.
I've been to Baltimore a number of times. I was there a couple of weeks ago. I saw what Kyler Murray faced with that defense and that crowd. I mean, they got great football fans, not good ones, great football fans. And to say, I'm getting ready, put the ball in Baker's hand with that offensive line against that defense, to me, it sent a statement not only to the whole team, but to the football world. I believe in my team. And we're going to be a little unconventional, and we're going to be a little bit brash. But to me, that was a phenomenal move. And you could see in the team, when they took the field, they were very aggressive. And just like when the Browns surprised us and named him the head coach last year, he went back to some of his old model. He dusted off that playbook from just a season ago. We're going to run the ball. We're going to be physical. I'm going to treat my quarterback like a rookie quarterback. I need him to make a few throws, but manage the game. My defense is pretty good. And that's how the Browns get out of Baltimore with a huge win yesterday.
And just real quick on Chris's point on the coin toss, particularly if you're on the road and you win the toss, you almost always defer because the crowd's going to be its loudest at the beginning of the game and its quietest right after halftime when people are still getting their drinks.
Yes.
People are going to the bathroom. And so it's if the Browns were home, it wouldn't have been as shocking. But on the road, to defer or to not defer and say, we're going to get the ball. And Baker responded. He was 7 of 8 on that drive. It was his best drive of the day.
Yes, and at the beginning of a game, Jenna, it's harder to play offensive football because you have to think. You can't be too emotional. You can't be too high. Defensive football is more assignment, more break down the gaps, tackle a guy, hit a guy. You can do that revved up early. So also that plays into it. Besides the benefit at halftime, you're going to get a significantly less in the crowd noise.
And you can, and you and the audience, whomever, can dislike the Baker, the way he approaches the media, the way he hears everything and responds to everything. But Baker's not going to change, at least not for years. Maybe as a veteran, maybe once he's been in the league 6, 7, 8 years, has been humbled or has had immense success or a little bit of both, he'll change. But right now, for good or for bad, that's who he's going to be. So I can almost set that aside and just say this. This was the biggest game of Baker Mayfield's very young career, and he responded brilliantly. The concern was, what are the Browns going to do when they have that bad month? Well, they were in it. Week 1, they lose because Baker throws the game away in the 4th quarter. Week 3, they lose in part because the coach calls a draw on 4th and 9. You can't punch it in at the end. Baker's not good again. And you go to Baltimore, a team that has a chance to go 2 games up with the tiebreaker on you in the division, and you dominate that football game. You mentioned Freddie Kitchens went back to his roots from last year. A lot of double tight end sets. All of a sudden, you're running with power. Your offensive line plays better. Baker only got hit once and sacked once the entire football game. This was the Browns team that we thought we could see at the beginning of the season, and it started, you mentioned, with the head coach deciding to take the football, and with Baker Mayfield playing his best game of the year, one of the best games of his career, in the biggest game of his career.
Were the Browns that good yesterday, or did we all just sort of misjudge how good the Ravens are at this point based on who they played and where they were statistically?
Well, I think it's a combination of We respect the Ravens for what they're going to do as a team. We know they're going to put a very, very good defense out there. I think in 21 years since they've gone back to Baltimore, they've either been #1 in points or #1 in...
They've been top 10 in defense 18 of those years. 18 of the 21 years.
You know, so we knew they were going to have a good defense. Now, they did make some changes through free agency, lost a couple guys, even though they did add Earl Thomas as a safety. We respect them. We respect their coach. Now, with Hollywood Brown being added, and we also saw Lamar as a new pocket passer. So we're like, wow, they might be the team to beat in this division, but it's only been a month of football. Part of it is the schedule, and the last 2 weeks, Baltimore has not been able to get Hollywood Brown deep over top of the defense to put that type of threat that really opens that offense up for them. So we thought at the beginning, Pittsburgh might take a step back for talent, but we thought Baltimore and Cleveland would be the best 2 teams in this division. And if you look at Cleveland, their last 7 games in this division, they are 4-2-1 after losing 17 divisional games in a row. So what Nick is talking about, you had talked about what are they going to do when they have a bad month. Well, this was looking at 1-3. And will they be able to get back to 500 to make a playoff push? Baker with his performance was able to salvage that.
Nick Chubb with his performance.
And since Baker's been named the starter there, this has been the better team in the AFC North.
Absolutely. Well, and so a number of things here. First of all, as far as to your point on the competition for the Ravens, I think Lamar clearly took a lot of steps forward this offseason. That's absent of competition. But I was watching this whole game, and you kept hearing the announcers say, this is the #1 offense in football in Baltimore. A lot of that is buttressed by 59 Week 1 points against Miami. When you play Miami and Arizona in the first 2 weeks of the year, we might have overrated how potent this offense could be. We saw the offense do some good things, but have 13 points through 3 quarters against Kansas City, and then the offense come back down to earth even further in this game. But for the Browns, there were so many critical moments where the Browns answered the bell. They're up 14. The Ravens score a touchdown. John Harbaugh says he's going to do it all year. He goes for 2 and gets it. All of a sudden, you're getting the ball as Cleveland down less than 1 full touchdown. You get a penalty on the kickoff. You're backed up to your own 12. Nick Chubb, 88 yards for a touchdown. 88 yards for a touchdown where, by the way, Nick Chubb, their running back, clocked at 21.9 miles per hour. Talked about Odell's touchdown run. He was 21.3, so he was flying. You have to give the Browns credit when, and I said this with Green Bay first game of the year, your biggest game of the season is your road game against the best or next best team in your division. That's why Green Bay's win against Chicago was so critical to start the year. Cleveland's biggest game on their 16-game schedule was the game at Baltimore. It was always going to be the game at Baltimore as far as impact on their ability to win the division. They dominated this football game. They dominated the first half statistically. They dominated the second half on the scoreboard. And now they have a chance to kind of reach equilibrium on the season where the offensive line played better. People aren't saying Freddie Kitchens should give the play calling duty up. People aren't throwing them in the trash, whether Baker likes that or not. And so the Browns look now like they did to me at the beginning of the year, the favorites in the AFC North.
Say what you will about Baker Mayfield. As you always say, he got the team on the winning bus yesterday, for sure, and that's where they need to be.
Absolutely.
Time now for Put a Grade on It, sponsored by CarMax, sticking with Baker. So he finished the day 20 of 30, 342 yards, a touchdown, 1 interception. Nick, put a grade on Baker's Sunday performance.
Hey, you can make the argument he was the best quarterback in the NFL yesterday. He was outstanding given the competition, given the stakes. The pick was bad, but 340 yards passing, the touchdown, the poise throughout. Odell was taken away from him, so he hit Jarvis, hit Ricky Seals-Jones, hit Nick Chubb. I give him an A.
We would give him an A+, but that Jenna, I got to take something off when he turns in the test, that little sassy mouth. At the press conference, I know, Jenna, I know it got you. We're going to give him an A+. We're going to drop him down to an A. He was outstanding. Sassy mouth. Absolutely not good.
All right. Double A's, though.